I love the logo openings from the past two films, but this is drawn out. The film's visuals pull no punches, opening with the breathtaking painterly spirit realm, free from the limitations of gravity and physics, and re-establishing this series' masterful highs at lighting and colour.
Our battle ended 500 years ago.
Well, now I'm ready for a rematch.
How come Oogway and Kai only meet now? The only solution is that this happens right after Oogway ascended, but that would mean Kai took ages to return after taking out Oogway. The timelines don't mesh up, folks. Real considered for Oogway to write the Chinese character for Chi mirrored, so Kai and the audience could read it. Inner peace skills can take many forms, folks, though not deflecting negative karma, I'm afraid. Rustipation in this film means many big moments don't feel notable. This opening has lots of revelations, but that it zips right by them and heavily compresses the fight diminishes their impact. This fake out about Poe and the Five racing to something dramatic had its punchline done well, and the visuals here are something else, but it's given well over a minute of build-up. Talk about drawn out.
Go Dragon Warrior! Defend the valley!
Defend it from what? They're just heading back to the Jade Palace.
Today will be my final class.
He hands the class over to Poe straight away, so technically his previous class was his final one. The Five limp to him just like he did to them and Shifu in the first film after the training room did a number on him. Nice visual echo. There's lots of callbacks to the first film, but barely any to the second outside of indirect plot mandated ones, and even those are done as to not come across as such. It can't help but read as the filmmakers feeling the darker direction Panda 2 went in didn't work. I feel it helps Panda 2 be more emotionally raw, among other things, so this rubs me the wrong way. The way they handle Shifu is great. Rather than force an unneeded arc upon him, they keep him to the sidelines but use him where it fits, alongside many fun reactions and one-liners. This is how to keep a character around that you don't need without them feeling redundant, something animated sequels often struggle with. I'd say it actually betters Panda 2 regarding Shifu.
A 500-year prophecy fulfilled.
500 years? Didn't Poe say,
"We've been waiting 1,000 years for this"?
Neither Poe or Shifu should be wrong, they know their stuff. Conspiracy theory. 2 dragon skulls. Get cracking, fan theorists. The film doesn't quite sell Chi. Not only does it tread over a lot of inner peace ground from before, but it also reads as another Force XP. Yes, Chi's been around for millennia, but taken within this film on its own, it doesn't sell. A slightly over-processed scrap of Taoism shouldn't bother, but with the above two, it does a smidge.
Almost there, Shifu. Just a little more confusing and you'll be the next Oogway.
Ha! Brilliant. Did I really used to sound like that? This duck's voice is clearly male, so stone me how he's laying eggs, other than rule of funny. No reason he couldn't have been female.
Kai has returned!
Who?
Master of Pain, Beast of Vengeance, Maker of Widows. Okay, I used to work with Oogway.
The gag of no one knowing who Kai is a little clunky in the writing, but J.K. Simmons really makes it work. Whatever the levels required, he kills as a bad guy, even if the script doesn't give him nearly as much to do as Shen gave Gary Oldman. What toy manufacturer would make a figure of Tai Lun, given his fall from grace? Or, if Poe made these figures himself, as past films' credits indicate, why would he do so? I don't...
Well, what about the Dragon Warrior lookalike contest?
Oh, Mrs. Chow always wins that.
Skadoosh.
That may very well be my favourite gag in the whole film.
Are you sure?
What?
Watch Payne closely. Looks like he says what too, but they removed it in post. DreamWorks ADR staff's better than that.
Little Lotus was the name you were given at birth.
Poe's original name being Lotus is great, not only for being a nod to Chinese culture and how important the lotus flower is, but for Lee's underplayed switch to using Poe. After this, he only says Lotus thrice. Twice in a moment of panic when Poe's in danger, and later when showing Poe the portrait of his mom. Thus, he clearly respects that Poe has had his own life. That adds to Payne's character too, as it makes Payne's rage at his arrival in Poe's life one-sided, to its benefit.
How do we know this stranger is even related to you?
The reluctance to directly refer to Panda 2 prevents the characters from validating they're related when Payne demands proof. All Poe would have to do is ask Lee, was our village attacked by a peacock? And when Lee confirms it, that'd be the proof.
There's a whole bunch of us.
Where?
Here, a secret panda village in the mountains.
A secret panda?
Given how he urges him to quiet down, could have just said, I'll tell you later. Poe's fitness always seems confined to action scenes. There's only so many times they can do that before it gets old.
Like the Urn of Whispering Warriors. Someone broke that.
once.
Who?
Some idiot.
I like how the joke works even without reference to Panda 1. After all, sometimes people do see animated sequels despite having missed the original. Panda 2 was my first. They seem to have swapped out some, but not all of the artifacts since Panda 1. Don't see the thought process, this place doesn't give tours. Shifu really needs to have a talk with Po about ruining priceless artifacts. This scene has little purpose other than furthering the rapport between Po and Lee before Kai's initial attack. Might have been better for that to be the subtext of a scene that serves other purposes. There's plenty of examples of that layering in this trilogy. For whatever reason, Lee's pants are missing in several shots. Guess baby Po not liking pants runs in the family.
Your father!
Whoa, how did you just guess that? Oh, wait a second. Oh, yeah, of course. We look exactly the same.
Well, not exactly the same. Is there a word for saying you all look alike to me about your own race? Because that's what Po's doing.
It's okay, Dad. I do this every day.
Every day, huh? Not much of a valley of peace, is it?
Whoa, not my good hand! Take this one.
Great balance of priorities, Ping. Seriously, there's too much undercutting of fights with jokey asides. It was in the first two, but not as much as this.
It's blank? Are you kidding me? Not again. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Oh, okay.
His line delivery reads like he's leading them on, but Shifu rolling back to reveal more is played like he's genuinely surprised. It took time for an art shift flashback, but it was worth it. Appropriately, this reflects the art in Chinese scrolls. Don't know if the Chinese animators did this, or if it was effective mimicry by the Californian or Indian artists, but bravo either way. Let's talk about Kai, folks. Simmons kills it, and his design and animation make him feel physically and magically imposing all while seeming otherworldly, given he's a spirit warrior. And the musical motif reworked from Imagine Dragons' I'm So Sorry is awesome every time it pops up, leaving an impression that the themes for Tai Lung and Shen, for all their foreboding fields, didn't leave. But as an actual character and antagonist, he's kind of flat. With the other two, their backstory's connections to Sifu and Po informed them as characters and the films they resided in. Here, Kai's once profound connection with Oogway doesn't inform the film outside the two scenes where it's referred to. A villain doesn't need that to be compelling, but when it's there but comes across as empty exposition, it drags the character down. It's easy to miss, but this is the same chasm the 5 battle Tai Lung over, bridge rebuilt and all. Fits, as it's supposed to be the main way in and out of the valley. Given how far they're already implied to have come, and having the appetite of, well, pandas, hard to believe this is their first lunch break, Ping's appearance being a surprise and all.
I raised Po for 20 years before I finally told him he was adopted.
30 years I've waited for this moment.
All the timeline discrepancies today, folks.
You can fly?
I'm a bird, Po.
We've seen other geese fly, like Zen, but given we'd never see Ping fly in 2+ films, yeah, I'm not buying it.
We're pandas. We don't do stairs.
I've waited my whole life to hear those words.
For the most part, they keep finding new ways to get gags out of pandas and stairs. This rope was nowhere to be seen looking up at the cliff, even though the plank they get off it can be seen. Okay, you'd have to be a crank to be immune to the probing beauty of establishing the panda village. I'm sure it's even more probing for Chinese audiences, where the panda is so revered.
We call it a snack list.
That's right.
With all the jokes about pandas constantly eating, you have to wonder how the pandas resisted long enough to make that in the first place. The biggest casualty of the rushed pacing is the intro to all these pandas, who only come across as one-guy characters. And there's nothing wrong with one-guy characters, but the film clearly thinks they're more than that.
Pandas don't walk. We roll.
So they didn't go downhill even once between the Valley of Peace and here? Uh-huh. Po and Lee just randomly switch where they're at the table, going by the background.
What's that?
My hat.
What's that?
My beak.
What's that?
My wing.
What's that?
My dumplings.
In early development, Mei Mei was in an arranged marriage to Po. It's good that was cut, the film's overstuffed as it is, alongside that feeling low stakes given everything else. But Mei Mei has nothing to do as a result. She's emphasized enough for her uselessness to be apparent. Artists, when a character is surplus to requirements, try cutting them, not clinging to them.
Wings of surveillance.
Just because you say wings of before something, it doesn't mean that you're doing a special move.
Wings of disagreement.
For all that the 5-bar tigers are underused in these films, the filmmakers do well in giving them amusing moments. They have Master Croc in this one, but he looks and sounds different from before. Think it's supposed to be a different crocodile entirely that the crowd's misnamed. Props for them remembering each of the 5 have different fighting styles. Crane's all about deflection. What's funny is that Mantis probably increased in size as a result of this. It's hard to find a lot to say about this life in the village sequence. It's just there's not a lot to it. Ironic then that it's followed by arguably the best scene, where the writing, pacing and emotion all combine for a moment of raw probing beauty.
Sorry about the mess. I don't usually get visitors.
Poe came into his hut earlier, waking him up early, so Lee's attempt to lighten the mood is readily transparent.
I had this done on your 100th day. Your mama couldn't hold you still. You nearly ate the paper. It's true.
For all that Lee's relationship with Poe is a bit thinly sketched, his moments with Poe all feel sincere and earnest. You can feel him navigating the murky waters of adult parenthood. Much like with this very sequence in Panda 2, the film manages to have a flashback of footage from the previous film not come across as gimmicky, but instead the opposite. Highlighting Lee's grief over the loss of his wife is crucial for making his lie about being able to teach Poe Chi in order to protect him come across right.
You don't have to worry about losing me ever again. Okay?
I'm legit not joking, even watching this moment in isolation for scripting teared me up. Aww, they got someone to hug, but I still want to reach out and do it.
Let me get some of that.
And it's gone. He walks on camera from somewhere other than the door too. The freaky thing about the rushed pacing, it applies far less to the back half. I don't understand why they couldn't extend the runtime to give it a little extra breathing room and weight, on top of cutting out unnecessary moments. That said, the back half resonates better as a result. Kai's name was going to be Tian Xia, which means ferocious spirit from heaven. Don't know why they dropped that. Would have kept the trend of meaningful villain names reflecting their characters, with Tai Lung meaning dragon warrior, and Shen meaning god.
Mantis! It is me! You bastard!
All three films we've had subtle visual references that Mantis and Muggy are close, with how often Mantis is on him. Nice to have solid proof. What an action scene! The way they gradually progress Kai gaining the momentum, as well as him clearly toying with them a bit. Does it make him overpowered? Yes, but he is supernatural, so fair is fair. I love how the music for Poe trying Chi here is an evolution of the inner peace music from Panda 2 that meshes in the main theme.
Who's she?
Awkward remnant from discarded arranged marriage subplot is awkward. Seriously, the cute girl panda that adores Tigress as an action figure and in person makes more of an impression than Mei Mei.
Now why won't you show me? Because I don't know it.
Wow, what a shocker. How have their footprints not faded?
I'm not in his life. Not anymore.
Your son got mad at you. Welcome to parenthood.
Might well be the film's best line, that. This film gives Payne more to work with than the previous two, where he excelled but was confined to a few scenes. With an organic reason for him to be along for the action, he's consistently comic while always being heartfelt. There's such gorgeous visual beauty throughout the whole film, and it really shows in scenes like this, selling them much better.
I can't teach you Kung Fu. I couldn't even teach Tigress. And she already knows Kung Fu.
He's not wrong.
Your real strength comes from being the best you can be, so who are you?
The film does a mostly good job at making its be the best version of yourself storyline, not retread ground common to children's films, but occasionally it comes across as tacky. He tosses up 20 dumplings, yet each of the 5 kids only does keepy uppies with a pair. Where'd the other 10 go? All the colour experimentation in this training montage, gradually styling itself as it goes, is something else, folks. Truly. Yup, that's Tai Lud as another of Kai's minions. What a fitting Easter egg. And yet, though he sends out Jade Zombie Tai Lung with the others, it's nowhere to be seen in the battle. Also, his waist amulet chain only had 4 at first, reverting to more only when he grabs them.
How about you spare me the chit chat? Chit chat.
In this
Chitty chat chat.
in this
Chit chat.
Kai isn't that given to monologues, all things considered. Hope Poe wasn't holding that in reserve for the right villain. That Mei Mei uses legitimate weaponry makes her takedown of comic silliness stand out awkwardly in a way the others don't. On what level does this make any sense?
Wait, it's working. No. No! No, it's not.
Where do I get the feeling of seeing this before?
Oh, no, stop! No. I can't take it anymore. I'll do whatever you say.
You're hilarious.
It's just occurred to me, why did you never use Oogway as a Jade Zombie? Seems like the perfect way to psychologically mess with our heroes. That's twice Kai's cut a circle in the ground with his weapon to prevent others fleeing, except it really shouldn't, it's just a circle in the ground. Why, pray tell, does Wuxi figure holding himself bring Kai back with him because they're enwrapped? Didn't happen to Po before, and he's always touching the one he uses it on. Also, Po has to know Kai can come back easily enough. This is what I mean by the film's visual and directional ambition. Though the final battle is more visually traditional, it's still a daring marvel of lighting and kinetic shapes flowing sans gravity. Basically, he frustrates Kai through prolonged silliness a la Tai Lung. Come on now.
The more you take, the less you have.
No! It's too much!
Yet again, we see one of Oogway's maxims given a literal demonstration. Well played. Shifu remarked every master in China had vanished, yet the only ones we see released are ones we saw Kai capturing. Even a few extra masters in the background would have done.
I saw the future of Kung Fu and the past. I saw the panda who could unite them both sides of the yin and yang.
Actually, yin and yang supposed to mean how seemingly opposite forces can actually be complementary. Don't see how that pertains to uniting the past with the future.
I can't take that.
Just take it. I have a bigger one.
I've always loved how Oogway knows how to gel with Po just right. True, Oogway may not have the growth Shifu gets, but he's such a winner of a character, despite minimal screen time.
I can go back?
Who knows? I've never tried.
Kai managed to leave, so this isn't a mystery to either of them.
Oogway gave it to me in the spirit realm.
Of course you did.
I think I mastered Chi.
Of course you did.
Meta-awareness at its finest, folks. Even if it's in Chinese, having a kind of dance party ending with kung fu fighting, where's the graceful ending, filmmakers? But it kind of alternates between that and the resolution of Po's teacher arc, so there's that. First film had kung fu fighting, second didn't even bother with a song. Stow me why this goes with a generic pop song that'd fit any animated film. Something I don't get at all is why they revert to traditional vertically scrolling credits after the unorthodox sideways scrolling and puppetry fade-out styles in the last two. Still, wise choice of score cues for the credits, including the Oogway Ascends theme. Mr. Payne and his legitimately upsetting reactions to Lee inserting himself into Po's life has to register as a highlight. His arc is one that feels fully resolved and given sufficient weight. Beyond that parental subplot, the film's a bit overstuffed. Despite barely being the longest, it feels the shortest due to several elements and characters being underused. Again, a common animated film issue, but after Panda 2 handled its cast balancing much more delicately, a mite upsetting. But this film's flaws are mostly in service to its sincerity and heart. Even if it's a little wobbly and lightweight, it's a delightful action-adventure comedy. That being the takeaway from a concept built around Jack Black as a panda counts for a lot. That the trilogy as a whole is at a very consistent level helps make them even better. Even if this is the weakest, it's by a small enough margin that the others help make up for that. Despite the majesty of the design in the dragons, I'd maintain the pandas are the finest DreamWorks films, visually. This one goes even further. Usually animated sequels don't have a surplus of visual creativity confined to building upon the previous films, but Panda 3 pushes its artists as far as they can go with colour and effects. The way shots shift from full colour to saturate fields of a single hue, the transitions from normal CGI to cel-shaded flat planes, the aforementioned graphic, Chinese-flavoured painterly style of computer animation, to say nothing of the breathtaking spirit realm, plus all the expected modern DreamWorks highs. This film kicked off a run where DreamWorks films started doing really wonderfully creative stuff visually, a run I desperately pray continues under Universal. Minus 25. Assuming Universal don't have DreamWorks make more, this trilogy's legacy should stand tall.